Okay, switching gears a little bit here, we need to talk about something called polynomials, okay? A polynomial is an expression with any number of terms, okay, and we'll come back to that. Polynomials are broken down, okay, as well. There's a specific type of polynomial called a monomial, and mono means one, so monomial is an expression with one term. Let's say that's like, oh, I don't know. Let's do 4x to the third power, okay? This is a monomial because there's only one term, 4x to the third. Okay, remember terms are things that we add together. Since we're not adding anything to this, there's one term. A binomial is an expression with two terms. So let's say we took that 4x to the third and added 3x squared. That is a binomial because there's two things I'm adding together. Okay, then a trinomial is one with three terms. So let's say we took the 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x. Now that's a trinomial because there's three different things added together. Once you get more than that, they're all just called polynomials, okay? So polynomials could have one term, two terms, three terms, or four terms or more. So let's say we had 4x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, this has four terms. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. Okay, so that's a polynomial. Now again, we could do subtraction. Okay, these could be separated by subtraction signs, but we know we change that to addition anyway. Okay, and we could have negative numbers. But again, the idea is that there's four different things that are being added together, or one different thing, or two different things, or whatever it is. Okay, so again, monomial is an expression with one term, where we only have one thing. A binomial, we have two things added together. Trinomial is three things, and anything more than that is a polynomial. Okay, the degree of a polynomial. To find the degree of a polynomial, we're going to look at the variable's exponents. Okay? So for example, let's say I had something that looks like this. Let's do 4x plus 7. Okay? This is a binomial because we have two things added together. And I'm going to look to tell the degree at the variable's exponents. Well, there's no variable with the 7, so I'm going to look at the x. And the x has an exponent of 1 because we could put a 1 up here. Okay, so it is linear. Anything where the highest exponent is 1 is called linear. Okay, let's do another example. Let's say in front of that 4x we put like 5x squared. And then did plus 4x plus 7. Okay, so again we're looking at our variables. So I've got an x and an x squared, and we're going to look at the highest exponent. So the degree of this polynomial is 2, and that is called quadratic. Okay, because the highest exponent is 2. Then we have one called cubic, where we could have like 6x cubed plus 5x squared plus 4x plus 7. Okay, this one is called cubic, and the highest exponent is 3 out of all those x's. So again, for cubic, the degree is 3. For quadratic, the degree is 2, because the highest exponent is 2. And for linear, the degree is 1. Okay? Now if we have no exponent, let's just say we have the number 7. Okay? Then that degree is 0, because there's no exponent there. Or there's no variables involved. Okay? And let's look into this a little bit more on the next slide. Okay, now we have objective 2, which is to name the degree and type of a polynomial. Okay? So I added in name the type of the polynomial. This one just says name the degree. Okay, so for A, we're going to look at the degree of this polynomial. Now there's two different parts to this here. First part says if there is only one variable, then the degree is the highest exponent of the variable. Okay, so let's look at that first. In example A, there's only one variable. There's an x cubed, an x squared, and an x. Okay, so there's not like an x and a y. All my variables are x's. So my degree is just the highest exponent that I have there. So when I look at all my x's, the highest exponent I see is a 3. So the degree is 3 for A. And then I also want you to name the type. Well, we learned on the last slide that a polynomial with a degree of 3 is called cubic. Okay, so the degree is 3, and that's called cubic. For part B, again, we notice we've got the same variable. We got an x and an x. Now we're just going to look at, now notice there's a minus sign here. That's no big deal, okay, because we could change it to plus a negative if we wanted to. But again, we're looking at the exponents. This x has an exponent of 2. This x has an exponent of 1. So we're going to use the higher exponent, which is 2. So the degree on B is 2. And again, the name of that type of polynomial was called quadratic. Anytime we have an exponent squared, it's a quadratic polynomial. Okay? Now let's look at example C. Example C is a little different because I have two variables here. Okay, I have an x and a y. So that's where this part comes in. It says if there is more than one variable, add the highest exponent of each variable together. Well, my x here has an exponent of 1, plus my y has an exponent of 1, and then my 3 is not a variable, so I don't include it. So that equals 2. Because the x has a 1, the y has a 1. So we're going to say that the degree is 2 for this one. Alright? So, now notice here, I didn't put that that's quadratic, okay? Because when we say cubic or quadratic, that means that the variable repeats, okay? So like we had x and x and x, so it was cubic. Here we had an x and an x, so it's quadratic. Since these are different, okay, there's not really a type for that, but the degree is 2. Alright, now let's look at some more stuff with polynomials. Example 5 says to arrange the terms of this polynomial in descending order. Okay, well, descending, we have to know what that word means first. That means going down. So basically, I'm just going to look at my different terms here. I've got a positive x, a positive 2x third, or cubed, a positive 2, and a positive x squared. Okay. Again, I know they're positives because they're all plus signs, and there's no negatives in front of them. So now we want to put the polynomial, or the terms in descending order. That means that I want to put the highest exponent first. So here's my highest exponent, 2x cubed. We're going to put a plus sign. Then my next highest is my x squared, since it's got a squared for the exponent, plus my next one. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. This has an exponent of 1, and this has no exponent. So we're going to put the variable first with the exponent of 1, and we're going to throw our constant on last. Okay, so now this is in descending order of my x's. I've got 3 x's here, 2 x's here, 1 x here, and then no x's there. So again, descending means going down. And we'll look at the last example that we have with polynomials. Objective 3 says to add and subtract polynomials. So this says add the binomials x plus 6 and 2x minus 3. So I'm going to take x plus 6, and it says to add. So I'm going to put a plus sign, and I'm adding 2x minus 3. So basically, here's my first binomial, and here's my second binomial, and I'm adding those together. Well, all this is collecting like terms then. Okay, well I've got an x plus a 2x, that gives me a 3x, and I've got a positive 6 and a negative 3, and positive 6 plus negative 3 is positive 3. So that's it. Okay? Now I could also arrange these differently. I could add them like this as well. X plus 6 plus 2x minus 3. And add them in columns. Well, positive 6 plus negative 3, that is positive 3. And x plus 2x is 3x. So again, we can add those either way. I prefer this method for you guys since that's what we've learned before. But if you like to add things in columns, you can do that. Again, 6 plus negative 3 is positive 3, and x plus 2x is 3x. That's your lesson on adding and subtracting mixed measures and polynomials. I know that's a lot of information, but I think you guys can get it. If you have any questions, ask me. Otherwise, good luck on the homework.